Hey Flower Tribe, I want to show you guys how to plant, grow, and harvest your sunflowers. If we haven't met yet, it's nice to meet you. My name is Kelly Lehman and I'm the owner of Cranberry Fields Flower Farm here in Cranberry, New Jersey. And I love giving you guys fun, free flower tips. So please feel free to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notification so you know when I post another fun, free flower tip video. So let's dive right in. So here it is in August and I'm in New Jersey. It's a Zone 6 planting area and we are packed with sunflowers, and I've been planting these sunflowers since spring. I waited until there was no more chance of a frost, and I started planting them probably back in May, and we've been planting hundreds of these every week ever since. And I like that idea because we have something called succession planting, and you can do this for your garden too. So if you plant, I don't know, like say 20 sunflower seeds in your garden 1 week, you can wait another 2 or 3 weeks and then plant another 10 or 15, and they'll come up at all different times. That's the idea behind the succession planting. So sunflowers are one of the easiest flowers to grow from seed. So what we'll do is I'm going to show you how I put these in the ground. I do these every year, and I like to direct seed. Sometimes people like to start their sunflowers indoors in pots before the actual frost is finished, and then this way they can just kind of transplant them. I find it's easier just to direct seed these right into the soil once the soil has warmed up and there's no more chance of frost. So I'm going to show you what I do. Super easy, and let's take a walk over to how we're going to do this. Okay guys, so here's how simple it is to plant your sunflower seeds. So you're going to come out to a spot in your garden that gets a lot of sun. Sunflowers love sun, and so you want to make sure they get at least 6 hours of sun each day. And be careful when you plant them, because sometimes when you plant things in spring, there might be perennial flowers that are going to be coming up around them that eventually do get very tall and will cast shadows on them. So just make sure that your sunflower, wherever you plant it, is going to have a lot of continual sunlight throughout its entire life. So I'm going to come out to a spot and make sure that I chop up the soil, there's no weeds around it, and I'm basically just going to dig a little trench here about an inch deep, an inch or two deep. And I'm going to basically just put my sunflowers in the ground. I like to have sunflowers that have smaller heads on them because we ship our flowers nationwide, and I don't like the big giant sunflower heads for those bouquets. So there are all different varieties of sunflowers. Some of them have larger heads, some of them have smaller heads. So two things, well there's a few things, but two of the things that are going to really indicate how big your flower head is going to be is the spacing of your sunflower seeds and also the variety. Now there's some varieties of sunflowers that are called mammoth, and they're like those big giant heads. And there's other ones like Pro-Cut Orange and Bicolor, and they're like the medium-sized heads. So first thing that depends on the size head is going to be, the actual variety. But the second thing is going to be the spacing that I'm showing you now. So let's take a look here one more time. We're going to take a look. These guys are going to have smaller heads because they're spaced together, like maybe about an inch or two. But if I wanted a larger sunflower head, I'm going to move this seed over about 6 inches, and you can even move them over even further. Sometimes people plant their sunflowers 6 to 8 inches apart for even larger sunflower heads. So think about the size flower head that you want in your garden and then space it accordingly. And then basically you're just going to cover them with some soil. Once again, you're going to have about an inch or two of soil on top. So after you cover your sunflower seeds with an inch or two of soil, you're going to make sure that they have water, because sunflowers and most seeds need water to germinate, to kind of start that whole growth process. So if you're not going to have any rain coming down in your garden, just make sure that you give it, like a little bit of water. You don't want to soak it that the sunflower seeds kind of float away, but you want to make sure it has like about an inch of water, at least an inch of water, per week as it's starting to grow. More would be fine. And make sure that they don't dry out in the beginning. And then sunflowers are awesome because they're drought tolerant. So once they establish their root system and they start to grow, they're usually pretty good when some of the drought conditions start to kick in. But if you can water them, if you've noticed that your garden hasn't had water in like a week, then definitely give them a shot of water. But they're really super easy to grow. And then after a while, you're going to start seeing some sprouts come up. It takes a while. And they're basically good to go. The way that I do my sunflowers, I don't even have an irrigation system in this pasture. And these guys were all watered by Mother Nature. And once they had their root system established, they kind of just took off. And we had some really, really super hot days here in New Jersey this summer. I mean, it was like 105 degrees, and they were fine. So drought tolerant, a super flower to grow, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy these in your gardens. Hey guys, so it's been well over a week, maybe into week 2 now, since we planted our sunflower seeds, and I wanted to show you something called thinning. So, as I said before, I like planting my sunflower seeds close together so that the flower heads are a little bit smaller. But sometimes when you plant in your garden or on your flower farms, the seeds are planted too close together. So this is a good example right here. So you can tell these 2 larger guys are starting to take off. And these guys were planted really, really close together, much too close. So right now, all these guys are all fighting for sunlight and water and nutrients in the soil. So these 2 guys are winning the battle right now. So we're just gonna make it easier by taking these little guys out. We're thinning out our rows right now. And here's a little weed next to this guy. I think I'll leave him intact. But this guy's super close together too, so I'm gonna get rid of him. And these 2 are right on top of each other. So I'm gonna get rid of this guy, and then I come down the row here, and these guys are too close together. So right now I just thinned out my seedlings, and they're gonna have a better chance. I'm actually gonna get rid of this guy too because he's super close to this other guy. So right now there's a better chance that these guys are gonna be more beautiful. They're gonna grow healthier instead of having a whole bunch of two tiny little ones. We're gonna go ahead with these larger guys. Okay, flower tribe, so let's talk the best stage to harvest these sunflowers at and how to harvest them. So when you're growing these in your garden, they look beautiful in this full-blown open stage, and a lot of people just let them remain in their garden like this, and it looks amazing. It looks beautiful, you have this great burst of color, and that's great. But sometimes you want to cut them and bring them in the house and put them in an arrangement. So if you're looking to have maximum vase life, where you have longer lasting blooms in your vase, I would cut them in a stage before it gets to this full-blown stage out in the field, because if you cut it in this full-blown open stage, you're only going to have a few days of vase life left. So what I would do is I would come, take a look at all your sunflowers out here in the field, and I would look for the ones that kind of look like this. And this gal is starting to have the blooms emerge. So you can tell they're starting to lift, and they're starting to open up. So you can kind of see those colorful blooms. They're kind of yellowy, orangey. And if you can actually see those beautiful blossoms starting to lift up a little bit, you can kind of tell over here they're lifting up from the plant, then that's a great time to cut this flower for maximum vase life. Because what's gonna happen is she's gonna start to open up in a few days, and she's gonna start doing something that looks like this. Well, this guy's got a weed on her. Hold on a second, a little vine going on here. They're going to start to unfurl and open up more like that. And then after another day, it's going to look more like this. And then after a couple more days, it's going to look something like this. And then eventually it will be in that kind of full-blown open stage. But you're going to buy yourself probably about 3 or 4 extra days of vase life by cutting them when they're in this just about ready to open up stage. So this is a good time to cut it for maximum vase life. And what I would do is that if I was cutting this gal to bring her inside to put her in a vase arrangement, I would find the length that I like. I usually cut them pretty long, so bear with me here while I'm... So now that I know that I want to cut this gal, I'm going to take a look at the length that I want to cut it. I'm going to go down the stem with my sharp cutters, and I'm going to cut it on a diagonal. So I'm not going to give it a straight cut across. I'm going to actually angle my scissors down, and I'm going to give it a snip. And I'm going to show you why I did that. So now, since I cut this on a diagonal, I've got more of a surface area to absorb more water. So now this guy is going to have maximum water absorption. So it's going to be able to collect more water up its stem. I'm going to strip off the leaves, because you don't want to have leaves in your water, because leaves can cause bacteria. So bear with me here. Strip the leaves, and I plunk him right into a bucket of water. Boom, that guy's harvested. So once again, this is the stage that's best for maximum vase life. So thanks for joining us in this video, and please feel free to subscribe to our channel. And you can also join us over at Instagram and Facebook. I'll put some of those links below. And I also wanted you guys to know that we ship our farm fresh flowers nationwide in burlap wrapped bouquets. So I'll put a link below to my company, cranberryfields.com. And if you ever have the loved one that you'd like to send our flowers to, please reach out to us and we'd be happy to help you. So I will see you guys in the next video. So I will see you guys in the next week. Oh my God. Okay.